Who Put This On, Season 6, Episode 3, where we watch Legendary, Season 1, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz.
This is Brian.
No singer.
This is Maxim with 7 Ys of House MD.
Okay. If this is your first time joining us, we watch a different reality show each week, discuss it in minute detail, and figure out if it's good or bad. Max, what did we watch this week?
This is called Legendary. It's on HBO Max. Pulling from the underground ballroom community, voguing teams called Houses compete in dance challenges and showcase fashions for a chance to win a cash prize.
Thank you,
It's
Max.
one of the least glamorous show descriptions I've heard in quite some time.
Especially for a very glamorous show.
Yeah.
Before we get into our regular scheduled program, we have a correction from last week,
Oh.
or 2 weeks ago. Sorry, we missed last week. From the Redneck Margaritas. They did not come from Floribama Shore. They came from a Queer Eye.
Yeah.
So-
Queer Eye, like,
Really?
Season 1, Episode 1.
Of Queer
Because they helped the old guy.
Yeah, wow.
Eye, which we could have found out if we Googled
Or if I
Redneck
were there.
Margarita. They would have found out I was on Queer
I'm
Eye.
getting some flashbacks to this now, which I'm shocked about, but yeah.
Yeah, so I was wrong. That was my bad. Back to our regular schedule.
Did people write to the editor?
Yes, we had some listeners write in and yell at us.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Rob.
It just goes to show that we're not on our phones looking up stuff the entire time.
Some of us.
Some of
Yeah,
us
some of
are.
us
So
are.
some of us are. Some of us aren't.
The corner has a reputation to uphold.
So, Legendary.
Yeah, let's talk about Legendary. So this is we're kind of late to Pride Month here because this will come out probably when it's not Pride Month. But
Yep.
here we are. It's about just kind of just some sort of dance competition.
Ballroom. It's ballroom.
But no one knows what ballroom is.
I think some people do. Maybe not some of our listeners.
I've never heard of this before. I've
Okay.
seen all 4 Step Up movies. They've never mentioned ballroom.
Ballroom is a gay subculture thing where you and your crew, which is a house, roll up and you do a dance competition with other houses.
Yeah, so it's literally Step Up to the Streets.
I've never seen the film.
I've never seen Step Up either, but they once shot Step Up 3 on the block I was living in New York City.
And you never bothered to actually watch the movie.
No, I didn't.
He kind of saw that and he was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, so this first episode was the introduction of all the houses and the judges, which we'll get into. And they have an intro kind of dance show-off moment.
Mhm.
And that's all we saw. We didn't see any actual real
I
competition.
think it's called a glam march or something.
Oh, I probably wrote it down.
I think it was Grand March, but
Grand
could
March. I mean,
have heard it wrong.
maybe
they did say Grand March.
I think Glam March is better personally, but I will concede it is probably Grand March.
Yeah, that's what it
So
was.
yeah, that's what this whole episode we watched was. Every house shows up, does their thing. You get some feedback from the judges, but nobody goes home. You do get a winner though.
Yeah, which we'll get into.
Oh yeah,
It seems like Ballroom, they said, was founded by Black and Latina transgender women. Unclear when that was. But it
It's
seems like a big New York City thing.
yes, it is a late 1980s thing.
Yeah.
I read a Vice article once on this documentary that very famously documents this whole thing called Paris is Burning. It's still popular. I think it's from 1989. Yeah.
This is the documentary you saw?
Yeah. No, I've never seen the documentary. I've only read about it.
All right, so let's get into who the judges were, and we can talk about a little bit about them. We got Megan Thee Stallion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Max, who is this?
Megan Thee Stallion, she's a rapper lady. She has a song with Beyonce recently. She was featured in an episode of Quibi's reboot of Punk'd.
And
What?
she's very popular. She got, last summer it was all wop, wop, wop. That's Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki
Wet Ass
Minaj.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. She was This was the one that was doing fashion though, right? Or is that somebody else?
That's
No-
someone else.
No, this was the lady in the pink
Oh, the pink
mesh bodysuit thing.
She was all sitting with her like her leg over
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
the armrest.
Man, it would be so uncomfortable to do that for like 2 hours.
Yeah, she's doing good.
Oh, I'm sure they filmed this. Took forever. To
Oh,
film.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Then we've got somebody named Law Roach.
That's the fashion
That
guy.
he was judging the fashion.
Yeah. Law. His name's LAW.
Yeah, it's literally Law Roach.
Roach. It's great.
He's a stylist who appears as a judge. Sorry, I was on the Wikipedia.
Do you think his dad is the band's Papa Roach? Sorry, that was really bad.
All right, we got to move on. We got Leomi
It's your last resort,
Maldonado.
Max.
Yep.
Yep.
Leomi Maldonado.
Yep. And she is known as the Wonder Woman of Vogue.
Some
Like,
sort of Vogue superstar.
yep, very much Vogue superstar.
And then we've got Jamila Jamil.
Yeah.
You may know her as Tahani Al Jamil from The Good Place. Also crazy that her character's last name is her last name.
That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt that Chiqui Aragonye in real life
It's
is
not.
Mr. Aragonye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I love that show. If you haven't watched that show, go watch it.
Hell
It's
yeah.
great.
Pause this podcast. Go watch
Well,
it. Come back.
to be clear, you got to watch whole season 1. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, like, if you're not,
Oh.
because there's definitely a big swing at season 1 at the end, and it's
Right. Like, take 5 hours, watch season 1, come
It's
back
so-
to the podcast.
It's
worth
only
it.
like 10 episodes. Calm down.
Yeah, 5 hours. 10, 30-minute episodes. 5 hours.
Okay. All right. So those are the judges. They don't provide a whole lot of good feedback. A couple times you get like, oh, you didn't bring enough energy, or I didn't like your fashion. But it was whole like, wagging your finger like you were great kind of stuff.
We have
Yeah.
to talk about the wagging fingers immediately.
Yeah. So it was
Instead of clapping, you just like sort of wag your finger as if you're telling somebody like don't do that, but like congratulatory instead.
yeah, it's a little weird. Is this like a COVID thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's a COVID thing. It's very weird.
Yeah, I mean, it
It
was taped during. It seems like it was taped during COVID. No, it can't be
No,
because they were
there
there.
was such a big crowd.
Yeah,
Came out
so
in 2019.
it was episode 1-1, original release date May 2020.
Okay, so pre-COVID.
Yeah, it's filmed pre-COVID.
May
Most
May
likely.
2020
Yeah,
is
yeah.
during COVID.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Filmed pre.
definitely. Yeah. Sorry.
Season 2 might be COVID.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how they change it up. But yeah, you're right. Definitely not taped during COVID.
I guess one thing we can also talk about is the MC,
Oh yeah.
Deshaun Wesley.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
he-
do much.
I mean, the MCs in these shows never really do too much, but I like this guy's style.
Yes.
He was bringing his own style to this whole thing.
Do you mean style in terms of the way he acted or the way he dressed?
Everything.
Everything.
Okay, yeah.
And he
Did
also
you
started
like the
off
style.
like I gotta say he opened up the show on
Yeah.
a very good note.
Hopefully, this airplane noise doesn't get too big for you guys. Sorry. It's hot in Seattle, so the door's open. I apologize.
Yeah, I guess the opening did a good job of like informing those not baptized in ballroom of like what the fuck is this show?
Yeah, I'm really glad we watched this episode. Like,
Yeah.
we were considering doing season 2, but I like this is such a good job of introing.
Yeah.
That like I don't know how well season 2 would have done.
Oh man, now I remember we also looked like season 2 and the Grand March was 2
Oh
episodes.
my god.
Now
Oh.
that would be a lot.
There might be more than 8 houses. It could be like double the amount of houses. Who
Yep.
knows? Yeah, I don't know if I could take more than 1 hour of introing people.
Yeah, the intro got a little repetitive.
It's it.
But you guys are right. So I'm looking at like the Wikipedia for episode 1-1, season 1, episode 1. Yeah. So it's literally just come out, make your house statement to show the judges who you are. And that is traditionally called the Grand March.
No, what I will say is a lot of the time I'll watch like, a reality show and somebody goes home episode 1 and I don't really like that. I want everybody to have a chance to sort of show off. Like if you screw up 2 episodes in a row, get the fuck out. But
The Lego show did that, and still did that for season 2.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely like you setting the pace for people. Like, hey, come in. These are the style competitions. If you fuck up, that's okay. But like, you got to really know what you're coming into for the next day. If you screw up that day, you're out.
It definitely, I think it's a preferred method. Or although as a close runner-up, I'll give what Top Chef does, where they get all the people that lost and they put them in what they call like a last chance kitchen.
Redemption House.
Terrible.
Yeah, it's a redemption house, and they stay around for a little bit.
I
But
hate it.
they just put very little focus on it because the only time you get to see the last chance kitchen redemption house is only on the web, so it's really separated from the real show.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to have it so separate. I hate when they have redemption houses. It takes up like a quarter of the show, and you're like,
Yeah, no.
one person matters out of this house. I don't care. Move on.
100%
It's so annoying. Anyway, get back to this show.
legendary
Let's talk about the houses or the clubs.
houses.
So we could talk about the first house was Escada. So they're from London.
That's not correct.
They said London.
No, their house mother is named London.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I'm watching the show all wrong apparently.
Anyway, before each house performs, they have a little like cutaway of like who are these guys. So each house on the show is 5 people, and they all have horrible, sad backstories, and coming out made me be who I was, and ballroom let me find my family. And then they get to serving Luke's.
Luke's?
What is
It's
that?
Lewks. It's
Oh, like looks.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
The Luke.
Yeah. So, this might get into like the performances they come out and they do like the statement, which
Yeah.
is like just like if you've ever seen these dance movies, it's essentially that, but like real. Like the most
Yeah.
annoying part about like the dance movies. So, I've seen the like 4 Step Up movies, and it's just like how many cuts, how many times do they take to make these? And like this is real. Like these people are coming out one shot, one take, and they're doing amazing.
I do have to ask something that I think is on everybody's mind.
Why?
Where did your life go wrong that you've seen 4 movies of the Step Up series?
That was literally on my mind.
All right.
I was like, okay, Max is gonna say something. I'm gonna ask a question next. Why are you so familiar with all
right,
Step Up
calm
movies?
down. You don't need to yell into the mic. There's a podcast I used to listen to called Critically Acclaimed, and they love Step Up 3.
Okay.
Wow.
So-
oh man, I missed out.
And like,
Well,
so I had to like, they say it's like they're like one of their best movies ever. So like, they got me to watch the Step Up movies. They were fine. They
Oh.
weren't anything like, they weren't terrible, but they weren't like, I would never recommend them to anyone.
I feel like that's high praise from the TCL.
that's true. You hate everything.
I don't hate everything.
That's not true. You're correct.
I-
Noah, you should know that the guy who directed In the Heights directed like 3 of the Step Up movies.
You mean Lin-Manuel Miranda?
No, he didn't direct it.
Oh.
He just wrote it and starred in it.
I think it may. No, I could be wrong. It could also be the Crazy Rich Asians guy who directed it.
All right. We're not watching that. We're talking about this show.
Yeah,
We're talking about
legendary.
the Escada. They had like a very royal, they were very cocky.
Very cocky.
They're like,
Yeah.
we're iconic.
The one thing I remember about their performance was like there was a lot of good choreography, like matching choreography. They were like a lot of like spinning at the same time, like all 5 of them, which I would find incredibly hard. But
Yep.
I'm not a dancer, so what do I know?
I wrote down that one of their songs just like kind of, or their song just had like real bitch peppered through it, and I wrote real bitch song is fire.
Nice. Yeah, are these pre-existing songs?
I don't know. I hope they're like.
I imagine that
custom-
they're like an EDM kind of like there's existing songs that they sample and then they recut them
Sure. Yeah.
themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would see that.
Yeah, I feel like they have to be.
Yeah, because you want to get it down to whatever the 30 seconds or a minute this like their statement dance was.
Yeah.
Um,
So, after seeing these guys, me personally, I was like, they're fine. They're doing their job.
yeah. So then we got Ebony,
The House of Ebony.
House of Ebony.
Tell me about the leader of the House of Ebony.
I don't remember.
The leader of the House of Ebony is a white lady,
Oh yeah,
which is just funny. But also, props for them being open to that sort of shit.
as a classic black house.
Yeah,
the white lady is
this is-
Isla Scheidel.
It's like the dean of a historically black college being a white lady.
I thought they did a good job in their dance. The only thing that the judges didn't like was the fashion. Like
Yeah,
the fashion judge
Mhm.
was very dismissive of their fashion.
I will say their fashion didn't really make sense. But I wrote down a lot of personality.
Yeah. So this whole thing is about like the looks, the dance, parts of the dances apparently too that we're not aware of.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, there's actually good, I don't know why it's on here, but redbull.com has a great 101 on ballroom and
Okay,
voguing.
so give it to us.
Yeah, so I mean, the one we saw a lot were people doing a dip. And the dip is when you kind of just fall to the floor like a marionette that lost all its strings.
Yeah, but
You kind of
Hey,
fall
gr-
backwards a bit.
intentionally and gracefully, and
Yeah.
you sort of hit with your shoulder blades or something. Yeah, a lot of that.
Super impressive.
Oh, so they're telling you about all the moves?
It's like a full 101. They tell you about
Oh,
some of the
I'm not-
moves. I learned about the dip in a different article. But they go through like there's different types of competitions. Like one is like realness. And so realness is when you just got to be like real to you and your house versus sex siren. So sex siren, you got to hit the runway oozing sex appeal, showing off your body, your walk, your face. Like it's all about the sex.
So I do have to wonder if that's kind of what the rest of the show is, where like they're given an assignment each week that they really have to represent. Because this was just kind of like do your own thing and you can't fuck up.
Impress us.
Yeah.
Really. This is your statement.
Yeah.
Which I like this episode. I'm encouraged to see what the next episode is, to be honest. But we don't really have a good handle on what the whole show is.
So that is how it proceeds, actually. So like I'm looking ahead. Spoilers, turn off. You don't know you don't want to know what comes ahead. But like in episode 2, they have to do a walk in 3 categories: the Rapunzel effect, mirror, mirror, and 3 fab mice. And so they gotta see who can execute best.
So that sentence is one of the wildest sentences I've heard this week.
Mhm.
But what I will say is like the fact that it's so fucking out there seems to me like they're actually doing their research and like doing whatever this ballroom shit is on the show.
So this is worth quickly going through. The Rapunzel effect. One member from each house must walk the runway serving a hair-oriented performance.
Okay.
Mirror, mirror. One member from each house must walk the runway in this face category, serving smooth skin, white teeth, and cut bone structure. Lastly,
Why do I need to
3
get nightmares?
good nightmares. And lastly, 3 fab mice. Trios from each house must walk the runway in a perfect unison in matching outfits.
I have a comment on the Rapunzel effect. So when they were introducing the judges, the last one, Laomi, walked in doing this crazy hair whipping.
The
Thing.
helicopter.
Is that what it's called?
I mean, it's like a helicopter.
Yeah. Anyway,
I've heard of that for a different body
anyway,
part, but-
I looked her up, and she's apparently famous for this. So maybe it's a Rapunzel thing.
Ah.
Also, she was part of the music video for that Willow Smith song about the hair.
I whip my hair back
Yeah,
and forth.
yeah.
I whip my hair
Yeah.
back and forth.
All right.
So she's a hair whipping expert.
Makes sense.
Let's get back to this episode.
Okay.
Let's talk about Ninja, the House of Ninja.
Yeah.
This is only women, the only women
Cis
club.
women.
Cis women. Yeah.
I'm not sure that they were like trying to keep it that way, but that's what it was.
They made a statement about that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it has to be.
Well, I mean, on this show, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're in an international club of sorts, as they claim, and there's some sort of Asian Beyonce in the club, which I highly doubt. But I don't know anything about it.
The House of Ninja was formed by Willie Ninja, and we know nothing about him except his name's Willie Ninja, and I think that's hilarious.
It's a
And
great
it's
name.
spelled redonkulous. It's like WILIA. for Willie.
WILLI.
Oh, that's not that.
That's
a
not what they
little
showed on
ridiculous,
screen.
but not too crazy.
That's not what I remember on the screen. Anyway, they won the episode. They won, and I thought they
Spoilers,
were.
Chris.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
I thought their dance was fine. I thought they were like kind of off on parts, so I was very confused.
I think their synchronization was good and their outfits were good. But
outfits were amazing. I think that's really what.
Yeah.
Like their makeup and their outfits were great.
Sure, yeah.
I did write down like it looked like the judges were loving it. Like I kind of felt like they wanted, but like, I
Clearly.
wasn't that impressed.
Clearly, I mean the judges loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do wonder because like that whole episode's about like introducing yourself. If there's stuff that goes over our head because we're just not as clued in to what the house represents, and they've represented themselves better, not necessarily had a better performance.
I don't know. I thought I'd imagine it would just be about the best performance, but we
I
didn't
think so,
really know the
too.
criteria. We didn't see anyone write down any numbers or anything. Like this competition's a little loose.
It's very loose.
It's a little loose. Hopefully, it's a little bit better. If you watch the whole thing. Let's talk about the House of Gucci. And I think Max really liked the tuxedos in this one.
Oh my god. I was like, who are these guys again? Oh yeah. I have one note for the House of Gucci. Insane boy short tux skin tight things. Just like I don't even know how to fucking describe this thing.
Yeah, it was like skin tight, like shiny tuxedo, pseudo tuxedo things
That cut off like just below the balls.
Yeah, they are nuts. Like the fashion is just, when people say fashion, I'm like, oh, whatever. This whole show, fashion. Like
Yeah.
you know it. They're making statements. It's all out there.
Less out there than I thought, actually.
Oh, we got to talk about it next house.
I mean, I would have thought there'd be a lot more out there, especially being on HBO. They got some leeway. Not much out there. Very tame in that
You
regard.
talking about like genitalia?
a lot of body part stuff. Like just generally, I don't
Maybe
think
that's
there is.
Maybe that's not part of ballroom.
Okay.
Maybe.
I would be shocked if this entire season there weren't just like a tassels on the nipple type situation. That's definitely going to happen, I think.
I would have expected
What are
more
the
of
things
that.
that are like the stickers that go on the
Pasties.
nipple? Pasties.
Yeah.
The stickers.
Stickers.
The stickers. You got the Mario sticker and the Mickey Mouse
I mean,
sticker.
it's basically a sticker.
I'm 100% sure that's going to happen this season.
I also will say I actually don't know it's a sticker. I will say I'm actually pretty naive on what a pasty actually is beyond how it actually just visually presents itself.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not magnets. So
I just for the record, stating I am naive. I actually really don't know.
holy shit, if you got like implants but you were like, "Hey, can you just put a little magnet in there?" That would be fucking nuts.
Man,
Okay.
that would have been
All
a
right,
good
all right.
plot point of the movie
Oh,
yesterday.
man.
We saw Fast 9 yesterday. First,
Well, let's talk about it after the
Okay,
pod.
okay.
It's got magnets in it.
Let's talk about the next crew. Unless anyone you have anything to say about Gucci over there, Brian?
There were a lot of people burning the house of Gucci right after their performance,
Oh yeah.
and it was kind of great. I did not think that they were good at all, but it felt validating.
Yeah, I don't really. These performances are all slowly fading from my memory, so we gotta keep going.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah.
House of West was next, and this was the craziest stuff. There was like, I swear these costumes were right from the movie Us. Like they looked fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Plaid City, bitch.
They had like plaid. They had like somebody with like pins all over their face.
yeah,
and like
The
you couldn't see
Hellraiser.
their, like it was terrible. I was like, ugh, I don't want to see that.
And they had someone in like a plaid gimp outfit.
Yeah, it was like the dancing. I thought was amazing, but
Dancing
their
was really
like
good.
fashion was horrifying.
But I got to give them credit because like if the whole point is to make a statement, and so if they're trying to be like, look, we are unique, we're gonna make you like on edge. Mission accomplished.
I get it. I'm not
Yeah.
the one giving awards for this stuff. I think their dancing was great. Their fashion, I would give them an F because I don't want to see that.
okay. I this has been bothering me for the past 30 minutes. The needle face guy. I was like, for some reason, this reminds me of Toy Story.
Oh yeah,
It's because of the little spiky
The baby.
The
on
baby.
the spider legs.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
thought you were gonna say you went to high school with him.
No.
All right, let's move on to our next house, the House of Saint Laurent. They had like a kind of faceless fashion where like the four people had like a thing over their face.
They just went in blindfolded.
Yeah, they
was
weren't
like-
very good. They couldn't
yeah.
see well, and they really affected their dancing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you practice this? This doesn't seem like a good idea.
Interesting note about these guys is their house. It was featured in Paris is Burning, which is from 1989. So this is it has some cachet.
Some history.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like their outfit. It's like wearing a hoodie backwards, but also then the back of the hoodie being closed off. Like it definitely gave a cool look. And if that's their like house's style to be more like off putting and like condescending, I think they got it. But it was just a very low energy relatively performance, which just like really killed the vibe.
Yeah.
Next, we got the House of Lanvin. The only note I have about them is Joker stairs.
Oh yeah. Somebody was dancing on the Joker stairs.
Somebody was on the Joker stairs. That's all I have.
I got a couple things. They have some great names. Somebody named Packrat and somebody named Zay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, on the Wikipedia, they have the names of everyone. A lot of groups have. It's great names, but also things you can't appreciate when you pronunciate, just how they spell the names. Very cool.
Also, at the end of this performance, Jamila Jamil says they took her gag virginity.
Yes,
Do we know what this means?
we do. We can thank longtime friend of the pod, Urban Dictionary.
It's a sponsor. It's a sponsor of the pod, really.
Gagged, to be amazed or stunned by someone or a situation of some kind. A term often used within the LGBT community in the ballroom club scene.
Okay.
So is it like specific to like ballroom? Like you can only
No.
use the word gag.
It's not specific from it, but my guess would be it derives from there, but more commonly used there. It's like using "yo, bro, that surf was so sick." Like people say "sick," but probably when you're surfing, you hear it a lot more.
I remembered why I know about Paris is Burning. It is the first recorded use of like shade for like throwing a shade. So a lot of like common nowadays terminology is from like late 80s, early 90s gay community. There's something like spill the tea is first shown in that movie or something.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, by far when I was doing my research, shade was like the biggest one that's just like everywhere now,
Okay.
coming straight from here. The other terms, not so much. I do think a lot of the fashion and style, straight from ballroom, from what at least I could observe.
And then we got one last house. I don't remember if actually before you do that, does anyone remember the Lanvin performance? Was it good? I don't remember what their fashion was.
There were some acrobatics.
I couldn't picture this.
Yeah.
We got House of the Balmain.
Balmain.
There. Go ahead, Chris.
They had like some sort of Matrix event where they were like kind of dressed like they were in the Matrix, and they had some sort of like 50K modem thing to start out, and like
I loved this performance.
What was their
actually.
mission?
Mission was like slay.
Yeah,
New mission, slay.
that was pretty good.
When they were doing sort of the interview with them at first, one of them is like some sort of drag queen, and they said, I went to some show and they saw some drag queen dancing, and they said, I can get money to dance in heels. This is going to be easy. And I just thought that was fun.
Yeah, this was a fun. I do remember liking their performance.
They had some real moves and a lot of flipping and stuff. The house father did some like real cartwheels all in a row or something. Not cartwheels, whatever it is where you tumble.
Somersault?
Somersault, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all the people.
Yeah.
We did it.
Then they said the ninja people won, and
that was
they were
that.
like, "We'll see you next week."
Go ninja, go ninja, go.
Should we move right into questions? We have any?
No, I have a major minutia.
Okay,
Ooh.
major minutia.
Ooh.
Major minutia. It may not even be that minute. I don't
Okay.
think I have ever seen a reality show that is filmed in the aspect ratio 21:9.
Major minutia.
Wait, I
What?
don't. I don't get it.
No, okay.
Like the picture is actually 21 to 9.
Yeah, so for those of you at home, aspect ratio is just like width to height. So your old school tube televisions, that's sort of a 4:3 ratio. Your current widescreen TVs are a 16:9 ratio. When you go to the movie theater, it's a 21:9. Basically, it's really skinny and very long.
It's like when you see the black bars when you're watching a movie on your TV.
Yes, and I have never seen a reality show filmed in that aspect ratio, and I think it really works.
It's very filmic.
How did
Like,
you? I didn't even pick. Like, how did you know? How do you know?
because there's black
There's black
bars
bars.
when we watch it on his widescreen TV.
There was black bars on the side.
No, on the top and bottom.
Isn't that just most widescreen movies?
Yeah,
yes,
we're talking
exactly.
about it's like a movie.
So widescreen
Oh.
movies have those black bars,
Right.
But
Oh.
widescreen television
Wow.
is just full screen on a widescreen television.
You know what? I was like major minutia. That's like an oxymoron. What's going on here? But I gotta say that is major minutia.
Yeah.
yeah, because it's like a major film.
That too.
And I
Uh,
think it's a really interesting stylistic choice that I'm all about.
They needed
Hmm.
more Nolan-esque. They needed to go back and forth between different, like the interview should be one aspect, and then the performance should be a different aspect.
Shout
We
out
like
to
we really got to set it up.
shout out to future friend of the pod, Nolan Kitts.
Shout out. Yeah. Should we get to some questions? Are we ready for some questions?
Yes, please.
Can I interject a new question for this week?
Certainly can.
Is that your question?
It wasn't, but I do hear you.
Let's do our, the general first. Who is the worst human being?
Everybody was fine.
Who's-
I will throw it out. Demoni, Diamante, whatever.
Liamy,
Leonie, yeah, I think that's it.
the
Sorry.
fourth judge.
Yeah, the fourth judge. Like she seems fine as a person, but like for being someone who's like one of
An
the
expert.
best in ballroom, I really would have loved to have more like critical commentary from her to learn like what's going on here.
I would agree. She said the same thing to like 4 houses of like, you guys came and you showed off. And that's all she said.
I have written down that I think on her right shoulder she has the word felony tattooed.
Felony?
Yeah.
Cool.
that could, you got a felony on your shoulder there. I mean, you're right. I don't really have one. The judges, like the judging, we didn't see a whole lot of, and they were pretty terrible in general. It's probably why we didn't see a lot of it. As we said, like there's no criteria written down. There's very little constructive feedback that we saw.
I do have to wonder if that's just because it's season 1, episode 1.
I don't know. Like it could just be because this doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, hey, give you a heads up. Like next time, come out with energy, come out with confidence. But like only one person ever really said anything. It's like Jamil. Like, what is she gonna say? She's just here to like have fun and watch this thing. Like she's barely in this.
Yeah.
Knows what to look for. Like I don't know what to look for, but
No idea.
Noah's point, like if the judges could tell us what they should be looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially for, I mean, at least I think for for us speaking on the pod, this is a look into a culture that I'm not really familiar with, was previously aware of. Like, I need a lot of hand holding to understand a bit of like what's valuable here. Like, it's like our like the drops like really like a big deal, or oh no, everyone does that, right? Like they got to teach us
How hard are the moves?
Yeah, like I think when you have esoteric reality TV, like even when you're in like the high end of cooking, right? Like going in like, oh, that's an amazing technique. Like a home chef's not going to know that. You have to like teach them so they appreciate like what's happening in the reality show.
Sure.
So I don't think anyone's the worst human being. I don't blame the judge, but she could do better. Let's go over Apex downgrade for the host.
Wait, am I the only one who said someone's worse?
Yeah.
Well,
Man.
what I will say is like her lack of feedback was definitely on my mind when he asked the question, but it wasn't bad enough for me to say anything.
I mean, but I have the highest expectation for her. I'd
Sure,
say,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
No, understandable.
but I mean, you guys. Is
She's
leaving
the
me on
only.
ledge.
She's the only one that we have any expectations for. Or like, we want people to dance, but if they don't dance well, does that mean they're like a bad human
Yeah,
being?
I would say the judges, they should get more people with ballroom backgrounds.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, we only know Jamil doesn't have any. Jamila.
I'm sure Law Roach doesn't.
They said he was a fashion guy.
I'm sure Megan the Stallion doesn't.
I don't know.
Unclear. Yeah. Yeah.
Should we talk about are the judges the hosts, or are we talking about just Sean here with the hosts? Who's the apex or downgrade for
Yeah.
the host? Is Deshaun the host? Is that who we're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. Deshaun's the host.
Clearly the apex so far. I've never heard of him otherwise.
I looked him up. He's definitely done some stuff, but to be a host, like, pretty good.
Well, it's so weird that these people would be called the hosts. They're like
He's
kind of like the MC, just
he
like
is the master of ceremony. Absolutely.
He's just he intros like no one knows who this guy is. No one will know
Yeah.
who this guy is.
You know what? It's like Nick Cannon in whatever show Nick Cannon's in.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. Because like the judges are the real stars of the show.
Mhm.
He's just like, all right, let's get the next person out here.
Yeah, but he'll interview the people backstage. He has like much more of a presence than this guy does.
What are you? Some America's Got Talentologist?
Oh yeah, that's all I watch.
I like Deshaun.
It's back. It's back, baby.
I like him.
You know, Simon Cowell, my favorite. He's back. All right, Apex or upgrade at least. Brian, what's your baffling, cringeworthy moment?
Ooh. So there was one point where, like, Escadia, like, after they danced, like, they just said, "This stallion is making me feel like a little pony," and I like had no idea what the hell that meant.
I like that.
It's just like that was my first like shock to this. Like, what the
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I like all the intros were kind of just like everyone was just trying to upstage each other. There's definitely some guy was getting painted on while they were like talking to this.
That was
dude,
cool.
They were talking. These intros are so weird because you're talking to these guys. They're sitting in a parking garage and they're like introing all these people. While it's happening, they're showing some unique dance interlaid in between this, and it's just so weird. And it's just some guy getting painted. And then sometimes it's just one guy dancing somewhere. And then we see the Joker stairs. And you're like, what's going on here? Like, are you introing the people? Am I supposed to know who these people are? Or are they like doing some sort of dance?
Yeah. I'm going to go. So it actually goes to the worst person thing. I think I got it incorrect, which goes to baffling. And I'm going to go with the producers, potentially director of the show. So they had to introduce 45 people.
Too many.
It's like you have 8 houses of 4 to 5 people. You have the judges, you have the hosts. They tried their best, and like I think they try to be creative in how they did it, but like you can't.
I just don't think you need
that.
to.
Right. Like I think they could have taken the show in many different ways. Maybe introduce like 2 teams in a few episodes, like 2 teams at a time or something. Like you really go deep. Like it's baffling that they tried to teach the audience 45 people, and that goes to the worst human being that they're not giving us a
Okay.
ledge to understand.
The producers.
Yeah.
I mean, usually when we watch these shows, we take notes on the characters, and you can't. You have to take it on the teams instead.
But that's the issue. It's like with the team profiles, they quickly gave you the idea, but then they focus on each person, which like I get, but like it's 45 people.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
I would rather have less that and more the judges judging. Like, I feel like the judges judging was cut to like have more info on the teams.
Yeah, I think you need to take this show more of like American Gladiator, where it's like each week or each show, it's just very different teams, and then there's like elimination brackets. So you really get in one episode to know a few people, build those characters, rather than try to cram it all in each episode.
We definitely know that when you have a competition show, you can't intro all the competitors in one episode.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
Yeah.
work. It's too many people. You
Well-
don't get to see the challenge very well.
You know, I hate to say it, but we know that they fixed that in season 2 because it's 2 episodes.
I don't know if it's a fix.
That's how they solve it.
I mean, it's a thing you could do that I think would make it worse. Like, I don't need to know who these people are. I don't need to.
No,
I just want to see them dance.
yeah, I think they probably.
And I want to see them judged better. I don't want to know who they are.
Well, let
Agree
let
to
that
disagree.
stand out there.
Like,
Just like sometimes you get some like interesting anecdotes from them that you're like, okay, yeah, I think that was worth my time.
I'm
No,
just not
yeah.
watching the show for that.
Okay.
Like, I think those interviews are really useful. You just can't have 8 of them back to back in an episode.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have any minor minutia, Brian? I don't think I have any, so we can move on.
Yeah.
Let's do drinking rules. I have one that will get you real drunk. Drink while they dance.
Ooh,
Go.
ooh.
And here I was gonna say, drink every time you hear the word bitch.
Every time a judge doesn't give constructive feedback, drink.
So there are 2 types of dances we saw pretty often. One is called a dip, where they fall to the floor, like the marionette we talked about with Grace and whatnot. Quite impressive. The other one is they kind of did this like crouched running or like bobbing while they're in like a super low squat
Oh
position.
yeah.
It's kind of like the Russian dance where they do the leg kick out, but not doing a leg kick out. Every time you see one of those, take a drink.
I like that one. I wouldn't suggest doing my previous one. I would like do anytime anyone says like, oh, on the screen, like it was impressed or you were impressed by some sort of dance move. I think that's a good drink.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's called every time you get gagged.
I
Take a
don't know. I mean, if you get gagged, you should finish a drink. Like,
Oh.
I don't think that's really, I didn't really happen to me, but like, if it happens to you,
There was a couple of them I got gagged. Like I was like, oh, that was good.
yeah. Brian, you good?
I don't have another one.
All right, let's go on to the production schedule here. Our second favorite. How long do you think this episode actually took to film?
Oh god,
6 to 8 hours.
Like, yeah, it's taken so
a
long to film this
long
thing.
time.
I
Yeah.
was thinking 2 days. Like, I don't think like you just run this straight.
No.
You
Well,
running this straight.
So
easy.
here's the thing.
Easily.
They would show cuts to people backstage, and they all had their costumes on still.
Right.
That's
That's
true.
So I think it's all in one day.
Okay.
Like, if this is a real, like, these competitions really happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, they could film this in, like, the hour it would take to actually get all these people in and off the stage.
I honestly, I think 6 is like the maximum. I could see this easily happening in 4 hours
same.
Okay.
Same.
So you have another question. So like,
because
do you
there's
think-
no setup. Sorry,
Oh.
go ahead.
Well, it's just like all the people have to get their makeup and shit on for in the morning.
Sure.
You're not filming any of that. So it's all like the filming part could be an hour. For
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think of it as. Sorry, Brian. You go first.
Oh no! Like to your point about the makeup, I was wondering if like future episodes, do you think that like they're gonna show like, hey, like we're figuring out like our dances and our design and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much free time now in the rest
Yeah.
of the show because you've already introed all the people, and like, it's gonna be. This is the challenge. Now it's gonna be you see them coming up with finishing like competing, making their show for that, and then you're gonna see their show. So it'll be like probably like a 20 minutes of the show and 20 minutes of them coming up with it all.
Yeah, but that does extend like the schedule a little bit later.
Oh, I definitely would think that this would take like there's 8 competitors, so like you have to get rid of, at least we have 4 or 5. How many episodes are there?
9.
9
or 10.
episodes.
Now, actually,
Like each competition's got to take like a day or two.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's a little bit different. I think they have to do a lot of things in parallel. The reason being, you got to say what's the most expensive thing they got going in the show, and that's going to be having Megan Thee Stallion on set. She's by far the highest paid person there. Like
maybe
not even close.
Jamila.
No, Megan Thee Stallion is huge,
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Right? And so you're thinking like, what's her hourly rate? Unless she's like really baked into this, which is like unclear how, because there's no ad revenue. unless they're distributing it. So
This
I
wasn't
think,
HBO Max like launch title though. You put some money into that.
yeah. So TLDR, I think you have to do Megan Thee Stallion segments as tight as possible because she needs money because she deserves that right now, and everything else.
What if
And
it
a
was
separate thing.
like 8 weeks long and they filmed it every weekend?
That would be
Maybe.
fucking wild.
I mean, she lives in New York, but like, I think you gotta revolve around her schedule. Like,
Yeah, her schedule. Yeah.
So I'm very curious what the show looks like once like half the teams have been cut out. Because like, what the fuck else do they pad all the airtime with? Do they just have longer dances?
I
Do
have
they-
no idea.
Do they talk about like how they plan out their costumes and stuff?
it's gotta be.
I don't know.
That's gotta be because that's a lot of planning.
I'm not super invested in the show, but I might pop on like season 1, episode 6 just to see how it evolves.
Yeah, I think this takes three weeks finish.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
I would argue. I think the planning would be more interesting to hear about than actually watching
Yeah.
some of the
Oh,
voguing.
I'd rather watch the dances for sure.
I don't know, like the fashion choice, the choreography, the music, like these are clearly super intentional and thought out.
No, I know. I want to see them do it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think Noah's onto something here where like, we have all of these shows dedicated to America's Next Top Dancer, America's Next Top person who goes down the runway.
There's- Those top model.
Yeah.
There's celebrity dance fest.
Making the costume. And this format could very easily sort of merge those into something.
That's too much. Though.
Khan Academy.
What?
You know what Khan Academy is?
Yeah. I just don't understand the connection.
I'm a fax on this one. I don't get it.
You just learn. They, Ballroom 101.
No, just no. Would this show be better as a Quibi? I don't know.
You know what?
I think there's a version of the show could work as a Quibi, but not like this exact show.
Yes.
I think if each performance were a Quibi of like, here's who we are, here's our performance, it could work as a multi-episode Quibi.
It's not a Quibi then.
No, it's absolutely what Quibi did.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's not the point of the question. Could the show be an 8-minute show? That's the point of the question.
No.
There was a bunch to be clear. There were a bunch of Quibis where it was like dance battles.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
like, I think this could easily just be a dance battle show that was already
Yeah.
on Quibi,
yeah.
but it wouldn't be this show. Like this show is separate. Like there's a lot more going on. So probably no.
If Ballroom has solo identity and solo performance, where you don't have to give context on the house, right? It's like meet Jill's a dancer.
Well, you
Like,
don't have
cool.
to intro all 5 people, and you're just like, this is Escada. They're gonna do crazy dance, and this is
Oh yeah.
somebody else to do crazy dance. Which one did better? This one did better. Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, you're right.
Like it's
Yeah.
like this is all extraneous in my mind. All
No,
I
you're
wanted to
right.
see was dances.
Yep. You're I bite.
All right, Noah, what's your question?
Everyone on the pod, you have an invitation to join any house you want. Which
Damn.
house do you want to join?
I already chose House MD.
What is MD?
No, like, what Hugh Laurie.
His name's House.
Yes, it's Dave's house.
Oh,
Does nobody else get it?
I got it.
I didn't get it
Okay,
at the
are
time.
you-
but I
oh,
got
all right.
now.
There's a TV
Are you
show.
familiar with the TV show House?
I forgot about that show. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. That is a very good joke.
Thank you.
Man, I wish I
I'm-
could appreciate that quicker.
I'm gonna join Ebony because I think that would be really ironic. So that's where I'm at.
Brian.
You cannot say House Ninja because that is impossible. I've joined House West mostly because I think that they're gonna win.
Yeah.
They-
And you, Noah,
Um,
you have to now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give a spoiler. I'll follow up on that.
Oh,
what
shit.
Brian said. So I would also join House West. I like their style and I like their logo the best.
Their logo is good. And sorry, minutia. A lot of these guys have their own chant for their house. I think West had a good one.
What was it?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it's like House West or something.
That's cool. Oh yeah, it did. We had captions on for that part, and it read like "Weast" because that reminded me of
Yeah.
Patrick and SpongeBob. You know. Anyway, spoiler: House West gets eliminated first.
What? Don't
Damn.
you can't spoil the show,
It's
Noah,
fine.
like that.
Damn.
No, Noah.
Holy shit.
You are on timeout now, Noah. Somebody mute his mic. I was just gonna say, follow up. Who do you think wins?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Noah looked up who won.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, you can't traverse all this information in the corner.
Before we learn the answer, is anybody really invested in this?
No, Noah's
No.
not giving the answer.
I'm not giving the
Okay.
answer. No.
You just have to pick.
Who do I think wins? Fuck. I need to look at my notes.
It's gonna be something stupid like the House of Gucci.
I think the Ballmain. I'm picking Ballmain.
Honestly, I got some good vibes from Ballman. Yeah.
Brian, who you gonna pick?
I'm gonna go with House of Gucci because it'll just be so random. I think
the
they're gonna fix themselves.
Gucci-meister.
Gucci gang.
All right, let's get into our last and favorite question: ratings. Or do you have a question?
I do have a question. Do you remember a reality show that we watched where there was some guy who would just keep saying Gucci?
No,
Okay.
don't remember. Maybe Rob, listener of the pod, will let us know.
I want to say it was like X on the Beach or something awful like that. Anyway.
I'd be surprised. The movie 8th Grade. That like Gucci is like major in that.
I do. That's the
Remember-
one with the girl and she's depressed.
Yeah, and she signs up on the video.
Yeah,
Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right. Okay. Yeah. I like that movie.
yeah, it's a great
All
movie.
right, we're gonna move on to we do have ratings. We do a stack ranking system where we put reality shows in the top, middle, bottom third. Some people put stack ranks in their stack ranks. Brian, what do you got for me?
I have to just put it like straight in the middle. I thought that this was a good show, but I honestly don't see myself seeking it out. And I think I might do it if like I really was like hurting though.
Like you're hungover, or like you're sick, or
Maybe like I just like need some pep up.
all right.
Like I need some happiness in my life.
Noah, what do you got for me?
Middle, bottom of the middle. This show has a lot of potential, and I don't think it lives up to it. Like, there's so much unique things about what they're doing, the fashion, the music, the dance choices, getting to execute this opportunity a lot better. And I think they just don't do a great job, as we talked about. Like, so love what they're trying to do. Really wish they could focus in a little bit more. So middle, bottom middle, for those reasons.
What do you got for me, Max?
Middle third, top of the middle. I think it was a competent show. I'm not invested in it. I will say like I kind of want to just like dip into like season 1 episode 7 just to see like how it evolves towards the end of the show, because maybe we just watched a bum episode. Yeah, I'm not invested, but I think for the right person, this could be like a baller ass show.
Yeah, I'm conflicted. I think it's like middle third, but could be top third. Like we didn't really watch what the show actually is.
Exactly.
Like I loved watching
Yeah.
these dances; they were super cool. I
Cri-
didn't.
Chris, do you want to agree on like watching one later episode?
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a middle now.
Okay.
And I'll watch another episode, and I'll reassess.
Which one are we watching?
Well, I was just gonna watch the next one, but somebody told me who was getting kicked off, so I don't know.
I'm on the Max train. I definitely would want to watch like 1/7, 1/8 or something, because if they do provide that focus, then this definitely gets a few
This
yeah.
rungs up.
this could definitely be a fast forward to the dances for me. You know, watch the end. So who knows? Anyway, we'll put it in the middle and potential to move it to the top because I think that it has potential.
Okay.
But a lot of the interview and stuff and the judging wasn't very good. Judging was garbage, like terrible. Just the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the interviews were somewhat fun, but at the end of the day, I'm just like, can we just go to the dance? So it was like kind of long.
I appreciate the interviews a lot more. I
That's
like
on you.
Yeah,
I didn't.
I feel you.
Like you could do from like a 3-4 minute segment down to like 30 seconds.
Totally. Yep.
All right. That's it for our discussion on this legendary show, let's talk about Fast 9. So we all rented out a theater with all our friends and watched Fast 9 last night. You know, I started quarantine. The last thing I did was go to a movie. I feel like going back to the movie theater is like healing. We're finally getting back.
Nature is healing.
It has
Sorry,
healed.
sorry for any of our listeners that aren't in a place where that's possible yet. But
I
hopefully
hope
we'll
you get there soon.
yeah, hopefully everyone gets there. But Fast 9, very good movie. I thought it was solid. Some there's a lot of magnet action.
I thought 6 through 8 weren't that good. 9 rules.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, not that 9 was bad, but I don't think 6 or 8 were bad.
Correction. I think 6 was probably competent. It's been a while since I've seen all of them, but some of them are just clunky, or I don't really care about the motivations of some of the characters. And this one, just everything kind of meshed really well for me.
I think you're confusing 7 because 7 is bad.
7's okay.
7's the bad one because Paul Walker died, and then they still went ahead with the Paul Walker
but that
thing.
scene at the end where they
The end was great.
go apart.
Yeah,
That
but
was very well done.
they had anytime you have somebody die and they have to CGI the characters in,
Okay.
the plot's nonsensical because they have to they can't do anything to
kn-
fix the plot anymore.
I know.
And it was bad. And they introduced that stupid MacGuffin, the God's Eye or whatever. It was stupid. Anyway,
What's
Wait,
a MacGuffin?
That God.
what's a MacGuffin? Are
Oh
you
my
serious right
God.
now?
Okay.
It's just a thing that drives the plot forward that doesn't really mean anything.
Consider the weird half orb thing from the movie we saw.
Mm-hmm.
That's a MacGuffin. Where what does it do? Doesn't fucking matter.
It's just driving the plot
It
forward.
is oh, we gotta get the MacGuffin.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Like
got
it could be anything.
Yeah.
These aren't the most typical MacGuffins where they're literally nothing. They're just we need to get the statue before the guy because it's our statue.
Yep.
But because these things do things, but at the end of the day, they're still MacGuffins. I think that 6 through 9 almost the same movie, and they're not really all that rewatchable because it's all them saving the world from some bad guy by getting a MacGuffin, and it's
Yeah.
just ugh.
I-
They really need to change their formula up a bit.
9 worked for me because of the flashbacks.
The flashbacks were this is a fun movie. I loved going
Yeah.
to see the movie. I don't think I ever really need to watch this movie again.
I'll watch it again in 5-6 years.
Maybe right before Fast 10.
Just have we seen serious flashbacks in these movies before?
No. Never seen a flashback before.
Man, okay. What about
Other
some-
than Fast 3.
what about
which
we
is-
get some flash forwards? Some raw shit.
Small spoiler alert, but this is in the trailer.
Yep.
Is that Han is back, which is complete bullshit.
Yeah,
Why was it in the trailer?
It was in
because
the, it was
you
on
gotta
the
get
po-
people hyped.
It was in the poster, Brian. It was on the poster.
the poster says justice for Han or something.
And Han is
does?
pictured
Oh.
on the poster.
But that's fine. You're masquerading as justice for Han. Okay.
Well, no,
But-
it's just Justin Lin loves Sung Kang.
Well, I mean, let's be clear what this Justice for Han thing is. I'll take a step back. And that Han dies in 3, which is after movie 7. And Jason Statham comes in and he's the bad guy for a movie, but then he becomes a good guy. And it's just terrible. He killed Han. You can't just there's no repercussions for him killing Han at all. He's just on the good guy team now.
Well, that's what.
But this movie didn't do anything about that other than saying Han was still alive. You
Spo-
still had no repercussion for Jason Statham.
Spoilers. Something at the end of the movie means maybe we'll have a discussion about that.
But there's no apologies to this movie. Han never said, "I'm sorry for faking my own death."
Correct.
I know how much I must have hurt you all, but because I punched this guy in the face, Brian, if you faked your own death and then came back 5 years later, I'd punch you in the face and I'd walk away and I'd still think you're dead because you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
If you did that, you'd just be dead to me.
You've changed, Brian. You've
Like-
changed.
But then he just comes back and they just give him a hug and it's just what? There's no apology. There's nothing.
I'm glad I can like remove this like from my thought process. I've contemplated it, but now I can't do it.
Just like
What is everybody's favorite dumb thing from Fast 9?
well, let's just go full spoilers because I got some other things to say. So if you haven't seen it,
Full spoiler alert. Full spoiler alert.
for Fast 9. So if you don't want any spoilers, wait till you can see it. What was your question again?
Just stupidest detail.
When what's his name was like going meta about how they're like kind of invulnerable.
Oh,
That was stupid. I hated
Yeah.
it.
I hated that. I
That was bad.
specifically thought that like they jumped the shark at that point. Like,
Oh yeah, they definitely jumped the shark this movie, 100%. Well, I think they jumped the shark with the whole God's Eye thing.
yeah.
So like, they really jumped the shark with the rocket car. I think.
I actually like that though. Like,
It was so stupid, and it was a Pontiac Fiero, which
But-
is just the most middling
Why?
American
How
car.
how does the rocket car get controlled from the steering wheel and like a normal car controls?
Don't worry about it.
Like,
They were shifting in space.
And
That
why?
made me really happy.
Why is there NOS? Why is there NOS on this thing?
Yeah.
You're gonna put a bomb in your bomb? Bomb? Like that was ridiculous.
Yeah, there were a lot of just like car nerd touches that made me happy.
Oh, another thing that really pissed. Speaking of apologies, that
Yeah.
pissed me off was that Dom never apologized to Jacob. Like, hey, I'm sorry that I disowned you and never
No,
talked to you about it.
He apologized through actions.
But he didn't apologize.
No, he gave him a pair of keys to his nice Dodge Charger Challenger.
Chris,
Yeah.
if you gave me a car, I would forgive you for anything.
If you gave me fucking Dom's car, that thing looks so fucking good.
He's always giving
you
away his
could
cars.
murder somebody and I'd be like, it's all forgiven.
He gave away his car in Cuba at the beginning of that one movie
Oh yeah, his
F8.
Cuban cousin.
to his cousin.
Yeah. I'd look up Jump the Shark as well.
Oh my
What
god.
the hell?
Oh,
No,
man.
where have you been?
You got to go on like TV.
Like,
tropes.
Jesus
It's,
Christ.
it's
I have heard Jumping the Shark, but I couldn't have defined it for you.
Do you know what a
So
Mary
look it up.
Sue is?
Who? No.
Jesus Christ.
A Mary
it's
Sue?
okay. It's okay.
This is a
Seriously?
TV
Yeah.
tropes Q&A right now.
Oh,
Mary
yeah.
Sue?
So
It-
no,
here,
I'm not.
for the people in the audience,
Yeah.
Jumping the Shark is when a show just kind of goes off the ledge. And this is a reference to the Happy Days
How do you know the second part of this?
because
Because he jumps a shark.
he jumps a shark and the show just kind of like went off a cliff. Like you just gone too far at that point. And it's-
I read that on the Wikipedia article, but I'm shocked you know where it came
I
from.
knew
what do you
that.
mean?
Hell
Like,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
you're always like,
So-
where does this come from? You're like, oh, it's a pretty easy
Yeah.
thing to like
Huh.
know and look up.
Wow.
Yeah. So no, if you go on this like TV tropes, like you'll start like diving into like random
Holy-
subjects.
This is the
And-
ultimate internet corner.
Yeah,
Um,
like it'll be
Ma-
bad for you. But,
Mary
like,
Sue?
No. Okay, so here's what you do. Name a movie that you like.
Basketball.
Look that up. Look that up on TV tropes, and it will list all of the just like repeated things in movies that show up in that movie, and you'll be like, "Oh shit, you're
Huh.
right."
I've never heard of this site. This is gonna be fun.
This is gonna be.
I'm
You are
s-
not gonna go to sleep tonight.
I'm still laughing about basketball.
Name a movie you like. Basketball.
That was my favorite movie in high school.
Nice.
Welcome to 2001 or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck that movie came
Yeah,
out.
no, exactly.
Any more on Fast or any shout outs?
I'm
Oh.
trying-
I liked that. Okay, there's a MacGuffin where the key is somebody's DNA. It's a really awful key because that degrades.
yeah, just like it's stupid. What if she died? What if she was
What
like
if she
in that
died?
car?
What if she died and you extract the DNA from her grave?
Oh, the worst was they didn't even need to extract the DNA.
They just put her hit palm.
She
on
just
the thing.
touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait,
How's that work?
DNA doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's her palm print. It was put in there.
They had that for like the gun earlier too. They were like, oh, they lifted his DNA from the gun.
Yeah.
Like,
So
oh,
here's
what
the
is
gun.
Oh, PSA for anyone at home: magnets don't fucking work like that.
Oh, yeah.
and neither does space. If you go up into space in low Earth orbit, you coming back down. You're not up there forever.
But they had
Well,
NOS.
depends how.
If you have enough propulsion, sure, you could stay there. but you can't just be up there.
Right.
You will fall. Like they were stuck in that movie where they were just didn't have the
Gravity?
yeah, no, well, they were up there, they blew the satellite up, and they're like, well, we're gonna be up here forever. I'm like, no, you ain't. You fall right back down and you dying.
Well, no. If they have the right orbit and there's not enough atmosphere to slow them down, which low Earth orbit does.
Yeah, if you're in like a Lagrange like zone, you can be up there. You could be.
Sure, yeah.
You won't need any more propulsion to keep your orbit.
Chris,
but-
I've played a lot of Kerbal Space Program. I know what I'm talking about.
They just weren't there. Like it's way further than where they were.
I agree.
I'm just trying to give people like a heads up if they don't know.
If you care about space and space science, may not be the movie for you.
I mean, I just remember in Star Fox, it doesn't work like that.
Star Fox, that Super Nintendo game.
Yeah, you just fly in space
Okay.
and you kind of just float.
No, you go into all range mode.
I was like, something I was really actually surprised by is where like the Mexican guys came from. Like
Oh,
in
yeah.
episode in like 4, they like just show up to do some random job. Then they come back in 5, and I'm like, where the hell these guys come from? We find out their origin story. They were in jail with Dom. That was great. I like that. The little touches.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then bringing back the Tokyo Drift guys. And they look like they aged like 50 years.
Holy shit. I can't believe Lil Bow Wow's Big Bow Wow now.
I was like, who's that black guy?
No, I literally, okay.
It took me so long to remember, oh, there was the black guy in that movie.
Here's my issue. So in this movie, they show you Lil Bow Wow, Tokyo Drift guy, and a third guy who does nothing.
He's also wasn't in Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
Wait.
And I was like, is this Lil Bow Wow and Tokyo Drift guy? Well, I don't know, because who's this third guy? And also, Tokyo Drift guy's like twang was a little lower than normal.
Well, I mean, he was in Japan for so long. And now he's in Germany, I guess.
Yeah, and they weren't Tokyo drifting; they were doing rocket shit. So I literally didn't realize until the end when he hugs Han that it's Tokyo Drift
that
guy
was-
and Lil Bow Wow.
That was definitely Tokyo Drift guy.
I
You
mean,
could not mistake. Other than the fact that he is like
I-
30 years older.
like literally, it went through my head. Is that Tokyo Drift guy? I don't really know. Let me tuck that away for the time being.
Anyway, I like the movie. I think that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter at Who Put This On. You can find us on
I have a
Facebook.com/Who
shout-out.
Put This On. You can ask questions and suggestions to Who Put This On.
Max had the shout out.
Max, go ahead.
I'm on like my 3rd season of Great Pottery Throwdown. It's so good, and it deserved to win season 5. And I'm sorry I wasn't there.
How dare you not be there?
Is what it is.
Do we need an addendum?
We are
No.
addendum.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
I heard you can exercise the penis 90X with those Kegels.
That's just 90 reps of penis lifts.
Yeah. Okay.